Darkness. Everything around him is darkness. He is trapped in an all-encompassing void of black. Though he feels warm and comfortable, as if everything is alright. Like snuggling into bed on a cold winter's day. But something about it is just off. Like there is more to it than he can perceive right now. As if he is forgetting something extremely important. Something he was doing just now. But try as he might, he can't remember. Clueless and confused, he drifts through the dark. After a while, the lack of, well, anything to be honest, along with that nagging feeling, cracks him up. What is all of this? He wants to get out of here, out of this limbo. It is boring, and he wants out. This frustration keeps growing. Clueless and frustrated, he drifts through the dark. Suddenly, he spots something. A light, dancing in front of him. He feels as if it could be just an arm's length away, or there could be unimaginable distances separating him from it. The lack of perspective makes it impossible to tell. But something deep within tells him that no matter how hard he tries, no matter how hard he tries to understand it, he will never be able to reach it, and he will never be able to have it. The incarnation of elusiveness. As this realization hits him, something else enters his consciousness. A new feeling. A feeling of anger, but positive anger. Positive anger? He is confused, but tries to understand this new sensation. The more he focuses on it, the clearer his understanding of it becomes. It's not anger. It's the will to keep moving forward. The primal force in every human being. The very reason humanity is where it is right now. That which keeps one going, no matter what the circumstances are. The unwillingness to take no for an answer. He understands his problem now. There is a drive but no goal. And untapped potential is just that. Potential. Something that could happen, but doesn't. I want to get out of here. He tries to imagine leaving from here, picturing it in his mind. His entire being is focusing on one thing, and one thing only. Leaving this void. Suddenly, the warmth disappears and makes place for a different sensation. Cold. He is cold. The feeling of comfort, gone as well, replaced by fear and panic. Something primal. The tension rises, his panic increases. He wants it to stop, but it keeps getting worse. He prays and begs, but it keeps getting worse. As he reaches the point where it feels as if he is about to go insane, he takes a deep breath. The kind you take as if you just held your breath for as long as you could, and your body took over. The kind that you don't take consciously, but automatically. Maybe even involuntary. He coughs and opens his eyes. His lungs burn, his head is spinning, and his heart is practically jumping out of his chest. The limbo, gone. Instead, he can see, hear, and smell again. Excited, he tries to get up, but something holds him back. He looks down at his body. A flight belt. Weird. Subconsciously, he checks his arms and legs. He notices his right arm hurts, a dull pain. A strong, dull pain. Trying to spare his injured arm, he opens the flight belt with his left hand. Where am I? The question enters his mind all by itself, a weird sensation, almost as if it wasn't his own thought. He looks around. The small room is dimly lit. The air is filled with a haze, and the only sources of light are 4 tiny little windows overhead, blinding him as he looks directly at them. Ah, he winces, grimacing. His eyes hurt for a bit, but after readjusting to the dark, they allow him to see his surroundings. Apparently he is inside a small capsule. What am I doing here, and who am I? Wait, who am I? Panic sets in. Forgetting who you are is bad, that much he knows for sure. Stricken, he takes a deep breath trying to calm himself, but the air burns in his lungs, and he coughs violently. I have to get out of here. Scanning the dim interior of the exits, he finds a small door with a heavy-looking operating mechanism. Having undone his flight belt earlier, he gets up from the sturdy-looking seat that's sort of integrated into the wall. As he fully rests his body weight on his legs, his left hip sends a jolting pain through his body. He almost falls down out of reflex, but he pushes through it and remains standing. Clutching his right arm, he limps over to the door and strains against the mechanism. The door successfully unlocks, but without his right arm to counterbalance, he loses his footing and falls on the floor. He is surprised that he doesn't feel the expected pain, but rather something completely different. There is no pain, but cold. He opens his eyes again and blinks a few times, trying to see in the extreme brightness. After a few moments of his eyes adjusting to the new lighting, he can now see what his field sense already figured out almost the moment he hit the floor. He just fell into snow. Snow? To be honest, he expected a lot, but not snow. Using his left arm, he pushes himself back up again, the soft snow crunching under his palm. One-handedly straining against his body weight. Something at the back of his mind tells him to be alert. Something is amiss. He once again checks himself for any additional wounds, but can't find any. What he does find, however, is a plate that's stitched on the left forearm of his jumpsuit. On this plate, something is written. McLeroy. McLeroy. I guess that's my name then, he remarks. Should he be scared, now that he knows his name without remembering it? Is it not to just roll with it, like it was a hole in his shirt, something not serious? What happened? Where am I? A confused McLeroy asks himself as he turns around. Directly behind him is the burnt exterior of what was probably once a pristine white pod. Black tiles cover its base, and Newton 2 is written in large black letters on its side. The hot material of the capsule's exterior still ticks and crackles as it cools down. He can feel the heat emanated from it. Looking at its base, he can see that the snow there has melted and formed a steaming pool of boiling water instead. Slowly starting to feel the cold and to shiver, he takes a look around his location. White. It is the first thing that comes to his mind. There is snow all around him. Snow as far as the eye reaches, a desert of snow. Though in the far distance he can barely make out the rough outlines of a mountain. But that is about the only thing that really stands out from the sheer infinite mass of snow. Well, can't say that I know where the hell I am, he quips. Why is he making a joke right now? He's in a dangerous situation after all. Is this something normal, or should he be worried? He looks at the sky, not really expecting anything out of it. But somehow he is still disappointed, as an endless cover of white clouds greets him. Trying to find any holes in this dreary cloud cover, he scans the sky in all directions. To his left, white. In front of him, white. To his right, oh, dark grey. That doesn't look good, he murmurs. Fixated on the huge mass of dark clouds, he notices the wind picking up. Could be a storm coming. Why does he know that? It doesn't matter. Right now is the time for action, not thinking. If that actually is a storm coming his way, then he needs to be prepared for it. I should make a shelter out of that capsule. Returning to the dark interior, he searches for supplies or tools that might help him transform the pod into a suitable shelter for the likely coming storm. His eyes finally land upon a peculiar metal box that's roughly 50 centimeters in height, with many different warning labels plastered on it. What's that?